Imagine a world connected by bronze and gold. Empires like Egypt, the Hittites, and the Mycenaean Greeks were not isolated rivals, but partners intertwined by trade, diplomacy, and the constant exchange of letters between great kings. They were the superpowers of their time, believing their system would last forever. But within the span of a single generation, everything vanished. Their glittering cities burned, their intricate trade routes dissolved, and the very knowledge of writing disappeared for hundreds of years. The clock didn't just stop, it was reset. This wasn't a slow decline. It was a sudden, violent catastrophe that left the entire globe reeling. This is the story of the Late Bronze Age collapse, the first global apocalypse, and the ultimate unsolved mystery: who snapped the thread? Around 1300 BC, civilization was booming. In Anatolia, the Hittite Empire controlled a vast military machine. In the Aegean, the Mycenaeans sailed and traded across the seas, building massive palaces. And in the Nile Valley, Ramses the Great ruled an eternal empire. Life was stable, predictable, and highly specialized. Scholars recorded inventories, diplomats exchanged gifts of rare metals and horses, and the system was so robust, it was thought to be unbreakable. It was an interlinked, globalized world, not unlike our own today. But reliance on a single fragile system can be a deadly weakness. A crisis in one area could quickly cascade into disaster everywhere. The first signs of trouble were subtle, but relentless. Prolonged, devastating droughts began to grip the region, starving the massive populations dependent on centralized farming. Internal revolts began to simmer as citizens grew hungry and desperate. Then came the earthquakes, a sequence of massive tremors that rattled cities from Greece to Syria. Historians call this a perfect storm, where multiple crises converged simultaneously. The great kings, accustomed to war and diplomacy, had no defense against the sudden triple threat of drought, famine, and geological instability. The system was already fracturing, but the final fatal blow came not from the earth, but from the sea. As the empires struggled, a new, terrifying force emerged: the Sea Peoples. We know them only from the frantic, desperate inscriptions left by the Egyptian pharaohs, particularly Ramses III. His records describe a ghostly armada, a wave of desperate, highly effective invaders who swept across the Mediterranean coast. Their identities remain a total mystery. Were they refugees? Pirates? Mercenaries turned hostile? We only know their names from the Egyptian scribes: the Sherdon, the Peliset, the Jeker. Their arrival was absolute terror. City after city fell. Mycenae was sacked. The mighty Hittite capital Hattusa was utterly abandoned and never reoccupied. They attacked the very heart of Egypt, and while Ramses III ultimately repelled them, his empire was fatally weakened. The interconnected world was dead. The collapse of the Bronze Age gave rise to a Greek Dark Age, a period of poverty, illiteracy, and fragmented life that lasted 400 years. The great kings vanished, and the complicated diplomatic letters were replaced by pottery shards. It is a chilling reminder that the most advanced and complex systems are often the most brittle. Our world today is more interconnected than ever, relying on fragile supply chains and global stability. The Late Bronze Age collapse is not just a chapter in history. It is a timeless warning that when multiple crises hit a centralized system, civilization can vanish in the blink of an eye.